you could have gone ahead with those projects.
Interesting. So the ministry, rather the KWS, the Kenya Wildlife Service, is under the Ministry of Wildlife and Tourism, right? Now, that ministry operates as a state corporation. Rather, KWS operates as a state corporation. So it's got its mandate, right? Its primary mandate is to conserve and manage wildlife in Kenya and enforce all related laws and regulations. It might also interest you to know that as of yesterday, you've just gotten a new PS in the name of Julius Bitoko, who has moved from education. Mm-hmm. He's the man now who is going to be operationalizing all of these things that we talk about. This issue of the parking and such. Jurisdiction: managing national parks and supervising wildlife management in reserves, private sanctuaries, and conservancies falls under this directly. Now, if this is the mandate of the larger body under which KWS falls, it would appear as though everything that you mentioned this morning is in direct contravention to the very thing that the ministry is supposed to be safeguarding. And so I would have to ask, even before we even talk about whether there was public participation or whether this car park is actually for the new Bomas Hotel and whose interests might lie therein, the very mandate of the ministry is being abrogated by these things that are happening. Why are we not met with surprise at that before we even start getting to all of these other details about a car park and whose it might be and whose interest it's serving?
Yeah. The
very fundamental operation of the ministry, this is going against it.
Mm-hmm. So if Nagati, if you don't mind me answering that, and I want to tie that question to what was asked earlier about like visitation and access and using cars, etc. I think even just the way that ministry is structured speaks a lot about how wildlife and conservation is thought of in this country, because it's in the Ministry of Wildlife and Tourism, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so it's seen as these entities are for tourism, and tourism understood as wealthy foreign tourists.
Yes.
Right? We're not seeing this as public goods. We're not seeing this as natural heritage, natural, not national, natural heritage that Kenyans should be facilitated to access and enjoy as best possible, right? So even when we look at like the entrance fee for the Nairobi National Park, just in the last year, increased, by a factor of like 3 almost, why are you making it more expensive for Kenyans to visit their natural heritage, right? And so when you ask that question of like this mandate of the ministry and KWS and these government institutions to safeguard and manage and etc., they don't see it as safeguarding and managing. They're looking at it, how do we commercialize?
So they're getting it wrong from the get-go, is what you're saying.
I think from a policy perspective and a mindset perspective, we're getting it very, very wrong. And I think it's both a government policy issue. I also think it's from an industry issue, particularly the tourism industry, who see particularly these areas with charismatic wildlife that are a draw for international tourists as something that should be managed in a very elitist way so that richer, more influential people visit, but through those decisions to allow that, you're actually excluding the average Kenyan from being able to visit. As you've said, like we should be seeing a situation where a park like this in the middle of the city should have organized tour buses where anyone could just go at a nominal fee, get in, have a game drive in the park. But you have the government and the industry trying to lock it in to say, no, we should have these exclusive safaris with wealthy jeeps and etc., etc. But this is not an argument you'd see in most other cities in the world. If you had Central Park, Hyde Park, whatever it is, it's free for, come in and enjoy it. It's your right to enjoy this. And I think that's what, from a policy perspective, a mindset perspective, from the government particularly and these government institutions, safeguard those resources, safeguard, not develop them, safeguard them, manage them well, make sure Kenyans can access them as part of their natural heritage. Then you wouldn't even have this question of like, why are we creating these facilities so the vast majority of Kenyans can go into a built infrastructure